Welcome to ADI TV. Understanding layers is a crucial first step in learning any image software, and Illustrator is no exception. I'm going to go ahead and change my workspace to Dan's just to better demonstrate or help us see what's going on, and that's primarily because I want a big area in the layers palette. Now if you can't see this layers palette, you can go up to Window and go Layers, or you can hit F7 on the keyboard. Okay, I'm also going to go and open a couple of files. So I'm going to go Open. Now I'm going to go to the desktop, Demo Files, Illustrator Files, and I'm going to open these Layers Demo 2. Go ahead and open those. Now I'm actually going to toggle back to the Layer Demo. Okay, so what we've got here is I've got a series of images that kind of look like pages on different layers, and I've got basically 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 layers all placed on top of each other. So right now all I can see is layer 5 because that's the very top layer. Now ignore background for the moment because we're not going to use that, and that's not really relevant. Now the best way to think about this, if I switch to the other demo, is to imagine them as if they were a stack of paper. Now if you had a stack of paper and you took all the paper in between the top bit of paper and the lower bit of paper, so essentially in this demonstration I'll take 4, 3 and 2 away, essentially you'd still only be able to see the very top layer. You wouldn't be able to see anything below it because that paper would obscure the bit on the bottom. And that's exactly how layers work. Whatever's at the top you see, and whatever's below it, unless that top layer is turned off or it's an opacity that's not fully opaque, i.e. it's transparent, you're not going to see what's below it. So if I was to demonstrate exactly this in this other document, so if I go back and turn off layer 4, 3 and 2, just as I said, you can still only see the top layer. Now if I wanted to see that layer 1, I'd have to obviously turn that top layer off, or I'd have to change the transparency. So not only have layers got an order, but also within layers you can have multiple objects. So for instance, if I toggle this layer 5, I've actually got a group in here, and if I toggle the group, I've actually got 3 elements in this layer. So if I turn those off one at a time, you can see what they are. One is the image, which essentially is the yellow block. The second one is the text. And the third one is actually the page itself. So this black key line, and actually it's an opaque white sheet. So when I turn that off, you can actually see the text starts to display, which actually is the text from layer 1. So really, if you think about it, it's actually quite simple. And all you've got to remember is the one on top is always the one you see, and everything below it gets obscured by it. That can actually help you to create documents kind of a more advanced level. You can make objects that appear to be the same object, but yet it's actually a series of images over different layers. But that's probably onto another lesson. So I hope that started to introduce the idea of layers and how important layer order is. So I would urge you just to play around with this layers palette to get a feel for how it works and how important it is. Remember, if you can't find something, it's probably because it's on a layer below something that you can see and it's been obscured. Alright, thanks. The School of Arts and Digital Industries at the University of East London.